Hello my dear friends and welcome back to another Star Wars video. So if you're a fan of Andor and you can't wait for season 2, and if you're a fan of Star Wars Rebels or the Ahsoka show, you don't want to miss this one. There are two major retcons, or should I say scenes which are going to add context to understanding of Star Wars that are very important and in my opinion, very smart. I actually love them. Before we dive into it though, I just want to thank you all for 135,000 subscribers. Let's try to get to 150, and so if you've not done so already, please be sure to hit the big subscribe button down below, and also ring the bell for notifications to be alerted every time that I post a new video. Thank you for your support, also check me out on socials, but let's get on with the video. A massive leak for Andor Season 2 has confirmed a connection to the Ghost Crew. As we know, the second season of the Tony Gilroy show is going to demonstrate in live action Mon Mothma's fallout with the Imperial Senate. In Star Wars canon, she defects from the Galactic Empire after the Gorman massacre, which I think is something season 2 is also going to show us. This took place in 2 BBY. The massacre took place when the Empire sent troops to the planet Gorman, where these troops slaughtered peaceful protesters. We've never seen it on screen, but it was referenced in Star Wars Rebels and the Sana Staros comics. If Andor brings this to life, it's going to demonstrate the sheer brutality of the Imperial regime. After the massacre, Senator Mon Mothma blamed and denounced the Emperor himself for the slaughter of the Gorman people, and prior to this, as we see in the first season of Andor, she wasn't taken seriously by the Senate. Her concerns went unnoticed. Mon Mothma is about to reach a tipping point, and so following the Gorman massacre, she gives a speech that sets into motion the declaration of the Rebel Alliance. We see this in Star Wars Rebels Season 3. Following her departure from the Empire, Mon Mothma had to flee Coruscant, and got to work trying to unify the different rebel cells, officially forming the rebellion. But this is where Andor Season 2 is going to give us a very clever retcon, and tie into the animated show. I believe Cassian Andor is going to be the one to help her escape. There are set photos taken last year, ones that show us a sequence from the second season where Cassian and Mon Mothma are running on Coruscant. These photos show them fleeing, likely in the aftermath of Mon Mothma's Gorman massacre speech. And Cassian is the one who is tasked getting the senator off-world. If Andor is going to show us the Gorman massacre and Mon Mothma leaving the Senate, it makes sense the paths of these two characters cross before the events of Rogue One. Due to Cassian being a fantastic chameleon and working undercover playing different roles when necessary, having him infiltrate Coruscant to save Mon Mothma seems like a very good idea. So how does this contribute to understanding of Star Wars Rebels? In the episode Secret Cargo of the third season, we see Hera Syndulla, Ezra Bridger, and Zeb Orrelios linking up with other rebel ships to help them refuel in secret. It's later revealed Mon Mothma was secretly on this other ship, as she sought safety following her powerful and chastising speech. Only 3 other rebels are seen in that episode, none of whom were Cassian, but this is where the second season of the Tony Gilroy show might look to add to those events by including Cassian as the catalyst for Mon Mothma's escape off the galactic capital. As some have said, this would certainly be a twist, but considering overlaps with Star Wars Rebels and other events we know happen in the years leading up to the original trilogy, this seems unavoidable. Does it mean we're going to see the Ghost Crew? Not necessarily, but it'd be amazing if we did. But the leak we saw of Mon Mothma and Cassian, filmed in Spain, does seem to imply a major role for the character in connecting the two shows, Andor and Star Wars Rebels. We're about to see a lot more Mon Mothma in the second season. In the sizzle reel shown at D23 we see her with a concerned face, much more grievous than she was in the first season. And we've also got to keep in mind, she's got her daughter Leda to worry about. She's about to be married off, and that's going to create bigger tensions between her and her husband, who in and of himself was written to be dislikable, but we're going to see the personal sacrifices Mon had to make. Certainly one of the most underrated characters in all of Star Wars, hands down. So now on to our second major retcon which connects Star Wars Rebels to Andor. Again, this one is very clever but very dark. This one involves everyone's favourite purple-haired Mandalorian turned Jedi, Sabine Wren, and it concerns her backstory. As we found out in Star Wars Rebels, before defecting and becoming a rebel, Sabine was once a member of the Imperial Cadets, long before the Civil War broke out. She was one of the smartest of the Imperial Academy students on Mandalore, and even began developing weapons for the Imperial war machine. But here's the thing, Sabine was unaware and naive of what those weapons were going to be used for, which led to one of her greatest regrets. Sabine helped to create the weapon known as the Arc Pulse Generator, the Duchess, and her shame was enough to see her abandon the Empire and leave the planet. Sabine thought she destroyed the weapon. It was designed to target Beskar in Mandalorian armor, superheating it and vaporizing the individual wearing it, but she didn't know just how powerful this weapon's capabilities were. While Sabine believed the Duchess was gone, the Empire managed to recreate her designs and use them for greater, more nefarious purposes. They used a variant of Sabine's superweapon on the planet of Dyson Frey, and this is where the brand new book, a brilliant book, The Rise and Fall of the Galactic Empire, written by Chris Kemshall, comes in. In the book, Sabine is connected to Bix in a very unprecedented way. It's revealed the Empire's recreation of the Duchess led to a spin-off weapon being used on the aforementioned planet, leading to atrocious, catastrophic results. The book mentions how Dyson Frey was used by the Empire as a refueling station, but in the process, the Empire damaged underwater temples belonging to an aquatic race, the Dysonites. The book then details the Dysonites rebelled in response, trying to fight back against the Imperial settlers. The Empire wasn't having any of this, and so to retaliate, they used a variant of the Duchess to genocide the Dysonites. It was an energy weapon used to electrocute them, and because it's tied to Sabine Wren's past, it makes the history and legacy of the fan-favourite Ghost Crew member pretty dark. So how does it connect to Bix? As we found out in Andor Season 1, the screams of the Dysonites were recorded and repurposed into a method of torture used by Dr. Gorst. The loudest cries of the youngest of the species were used to intimidate and torture Bix. She was subjected to the most agonizing cries. This is another connection between Star Wars Rebels and the Andor show, although more inadvertent. But as I mentioned in a previous video, the new book by Dr. Chris Kemshall is absolutely fantastic, a must-read for Star Wars history buffs. But what do you guys think about these two connections, these two so-called retcons? Share your thoughts in the comments down below. As I say, if you've not done so already, please be sure to subscribe. If you enjoyed this one, give me a big fat thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video. May the Force be with you, always.